Hi guys, this is Foxy, and this will be part 4 of What If Izuku Was a Zombie. I am planning to make part 10 of What If Izuku Was a Vigilante. Hold on, I think it was part 10. Hold on, I need to check for a second. Yeah, part 10 of What If Izuku Was a Vigilante. I am planning to make the next episode of that. Hold on, my throat's cutting out. But I am planning to make that. Shoot, what is happening to my throat? Sorry, guys. But I was saying that I am planning to make part 10. It will be coming out. Part 2, I'm planning to bring out before this. And part 1 of What If Izuku Was a Ghost will come out. I did make part 1, What If Izuku Was a Ghost, part 1, before I made part 3 of What If Izuku Was a Zombie. And I made a few mistakes in that one. I called part 9 of Webzuku was a vigilante part 19. So please don't get confused. It was my mistake. Please. But you don't want to hear any of that right now. You want to get onto the story. So, let's hit the road. Our POV. The moon shone with beautiful radiant light. It cast its beautiful light on Japan, bathing the streets in holy light. But it also showed the scarlet red that painted the city, the shambling corpses that ate the living, and shown everything that was wrong, but made it beautiful all the same, and scary as well. But in a little room in a apartment complex, shown two people, one clearly older than the other. The person, the oldest one, had beautiful white hair that cascaded down their backs like a river, and an elegant tail that swooshed mindlessly on the ground. Their ears flickered, and their nose sniffed. But it was all quiet, and the child that lay on the bed was still. The heart didn't beat for both of them. Their breaths came out in shallow breaths. The blood did not run through them like it should. The blood ran slowly, like a drop of water hitting the pond, slowly, drop by drop by drop. But on the other side of Japan, no, it was not the other side. It was in UA. We could see the parents of the child, Inka Midoriya and Hasashi Midoriya, ran all the way from where their car wrecked itself to UA. They gasped and panted, sweating a storm. But there were their friends, Mitsuki Bakugo and her husband and their child. They asked where was Izuku. Mitsuki liked the boy. He was cute, shy, and so very lovely. But Mitsuki knew something was wrong with him. Or not wrong with him, it's just something wasn't right in the family. But she never pried and never poked. She should have, though. She should have ripped the wound as big as she could and saved Izuku before the mess happened. Before Izuku was left for dead, he could have been safe. He could have lived. He could have had his blood run through his veins like it should. His heart should be beating with a mantra of life. His eyes should not be casted down to the earth. He should not have to feel his bones. He should not have to feel weak. But Mitsuki never, ever poked or pried it. She never tore the wound open. Instead, she sat on the sidelines, watching, with blind eyes. Miski and her family cried, a river worth of tears, as Hisashi came up with a sad, wrecking story, saying in the middle of the night, a zombie came and went into Izuku's bedroom that was casted open and ate the poor child alive. It was already too late for the parents to save the kid, so they ran for it, scared and their blood running through their veins. But Miski knew that was not the story. Something was wrong with it. Something was terribly, terribly wrong with it. It bore through her veins, and her mind told her it was a lie. But her anguish did not let her see it. Instead, she lay down with her husband and child in arms as she cried. She felt responsible, but it did not change the fact that Izuku was dead. For Katsuki Bakugo, on the other hand, he felt like something stabbed through his heart and was launched in there, unable to move. He held back tears and held back gasps of air as he tried to suffocate himself, tried to not show weakness for him crying, for him sobbing like a baby, sobbing like a deku. But deep, deep within his mind, he cried. He cried oceans worth of tears and regrets. Unbeknownst to Katsuki Bakugo, his regret and guilt will eat him alive until he meets his friend once again. For the Todoroki family, it was easy as pie to get to UA. Enji was not going to risk his neck for saving civilians. He was going to get his family out of there. Enji knew he was not a good parent. He knew that he was not the most equipped person out there. He knew that. But it didn't stop him from trying to show something. It wasn't really his fault for being this way, unable to show feelings. His mother was not the best at it. She always yelled and screeched at him. His father was always there but silent. His father was a weak man. His mother was a strong, dependable type. But that was the problem. Enji did not know how to care. Did not know how to give comforting words to another. Did not know how to be gentle while hugging. He did not even know how to hug. He just knew how to fight. He knew that he was a fighter, a hero. But was he, though? That thought always lingered in the back of his mind. Did he ever wanted to be a hero? His mother always forced him into it. Did he really want to save someone he didn't even know? Was he that selfless? Yeah, the pay was good. It was very, very good. That's why he could afford such a lovely house. How he could have all of the luxuries at the fingertips. But did he actually want to be a hero? Well, you'll never know that now, since the world was bathed in chaos. For Ray, she was stuck in the mental hospital. And it was fine. It was normal there. No one was running around trying to eat one another, since they were all locked in their rooms. Ray believed that her husband would not save her, would not come to her rescue like a knight in shining armor. But he did. He did. Maybe not in shining armor, but he came in with fire. Yes, he did. And saved her. But without the kids' notice. The kids were already at UA, safe and sound, in the walls built like a fortress. And Ray was safe. She was fine. She was breathing. Even though she was scared and and terrified of her husband, she felt grateful. Grateful that he at least remembered her to come save her. Even though she shook like a leaf in the wind as he jumped high in the air. Even though her veins ran cold, and not from her quirk, but from her fear, as her mind blinked out, as her eyes were wide, as her mouth was sewn shut. Deep in her heart, something warm sparked to life. Something that she long forgotten. For Todoroki Shoto, everything was chaotic. People were running around, yelling, begging to be let free, to go save their families, beg the heroes to do something. But it all washed over him like a river. He was lost. His father was gone. His brother was holding his sister. But Shoto was there, alone, as he just looked out on the sea of people covered in blood and other questionable fluids. People were squished against each other, and it was one big mob. Shoto never ever really met a group of people like this, and his heart started to race, his breaths coming out in short gasps, and something behind his eyes were burning. Everything around him was becoming too loud. He wanted to fall to his knees and cry like a child, but his father taught him not to show weakness, not to be weak. So he bit his tongue and stayed silent as the noises got louder and louder, screams filling the atmosphere, as blood caked beneath his feet, as his eyes watched as people tore into each other. It was a mistake. Someone was not careful to watch. There was no information. So one affected got in. Then 2, then 3, then 4, then 10, then 20, then 50, then hundreds were affected. And he was there just watching. Then bullets rained down from the skies like judgment from a god, hitting the victims, hitting the affected. Soon, no one was there. It was just a group of bitten people, from young to old, from child to an old man. Men, women were not spared from the bullets. It was just a mess. It was chaotic. It was horrifying. So Shoto closed his eyes and waited. Even though Shoto did not like his father, he liked his fire a tiny bit. Even though Shoto would never actually accept it, deep within him, he liked the warmth. He liked the feeling. A child is a child, and a child will always be attached to their father, even if they never really wanted to. A father would always have some type of aura about them, an aura for their young to come towards them to be protected. Even though Shoto never wanted to accept it, he will probably never accept it actually, deep within his mind. He wanted his dad. He wanted his mom. He wanted someone to hold him, to coddle him, to tell him, it's a mess now, but it will be okay. You're safe. But words, nothing came out. But to his utter shock, his mom came. She was covered in white robes, or the type of clothes that a hospital will give to their patients. And he worried. His mother walked with shaky steps, like a deer, a fawn actually, a baby deer. But she came towards him and hugged him, long and tight, as his face was pressed into her bosom. As The other members of their family came and hugged each other, crying out for their mom like weaned kittens begging for food. Then their father came. Natsuo never really liked his father. He wanted to stab the man, wanted to murder and wear his skin like a robe. His sister loved their father. Somehow, the daughter will be always attached to the father more than the mother. That's what Shoto has noticed. Throughout watching Families and all the TV shows he secretly watched. And to their utter shock, Enji Todoroki hugged them, long and tight, as they were pressed into his muscular frame. It was like that one picture he saw of a mother cat hugging her kittens, wrapping her tail around them, and the father cat wrapping himself around them, protectively, claws extended and dug into the earth, waiting for the next attack. It was a beautiful sight, and a sight that Todoroki believed that he would never see, never ever witness, never ever feel. But he did. And now the dam broke as silent tears ran down his face as he sniffed. It was not easy being a child. It was not easy to hold back emotions. It was not easy to shut them off, to believe that they were not there. Even for his brother and sister, they cried like weaned kittens, along with their mother and their father. Silent tears, small tears, ran down his face. Soon they were brought into the building, and they waited. They were checked and scanned, stripped, and checked over to make sure that they were not bitten, they were not affected. They were all cleared and allowed to go inside. They were given food and water, cups of warm tea, and everything felt normal. For Izuku and Damien, their hunger has started to claw within their stomachs, and this is when Izuku awoken, his eyes fluttering open as beautiful green eyes glowed in the light. Damien also opened his eyes and looked within Izuku's own. Their eyes glowed brightly, then dimmed back to their normal selves. And they went out the window. No longer with a human mindset. They were hunting. They were predators, and their zombies were prey. Throughout the night, they tore, dug, and ate the crystal cores that were in zombies' heads. And drop by drop of power built in their chests. And they kept eating and eating. Soon, in their little town, in their street, all the zombies were dead. The ones without cores were thrown off the windows. The ones with crystal cores were dug through until there was nothing left. Then they were thrown out the window as well. Soon, the building was clear of zombies. Young and old, man and child were not spared. They ate and ate and ate like savage beasts. The entire apartment complex was clear. The doors were broken open. The stairwells caked in blood, dried and new. Now, finally, the two hungry beasts laid in rest as their minds finally stopped. But something in their chests finally awoken. Now their hearts beat for a short while, beat with a will of life as their blood ran through their veins. Color returned to their skins, and the marks from the day, cuts, bruises from attacking the zombies, disappeared. and their tails were growing bigger, fluffier, or in this case, more spikes. But unbeknownst to Damien or Izuku, there was a gem in their chests, and the gem got bigger as they leveled up. Congratulations, Damien and Izuku. You have leveled up to level 1. I hope you can make it to level 10. There will be a big, big surprise for you. Then the robotic voice disappeared, and there was left with silence as the two hungry beasts rest. Their hearts no longer beat. Their blood no longer flows through their chests. They just slept. And this will be the ending of part 4 of What If Izuku Was a Zombie. I really hope you like it, and toodaloo!